the other end. Because I can see Joe. Okay, good.
You
Can
can
you
see
hear?
like the top for each.
Yes,
of the
there is.
side.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Ben. Everyone
Who else
says.
can we say hi to?
Oh, it's deleted. It's deleted. It's Sue. Can you see who's in?
You see who's watching it?
Go my hand. And Joe. No, I can only see that there's 4 people and one thumbs up. Interesting. But I can see almost the. So it's a good rate.
Here they come.
Hopefully it's good sound.
Hopefully, no. It's looking like sound though.
Lots more chairs.
Joe will save your seat. Or we can switch. Wow, it's 2 degrees.
Glad we get together.
Sorry.
We are setting up more chairs up front.
There's things to get set up, and it might take a little while. I came with my parents. Well, I drove here to here with my parents. To up here with my parents. To here with Uncle Tim and Joe.
Those perfect stays.
We're against the wall.
Yeah, when I got here, we're gonna build a park now. So if you want to get out, you have to go down the road. I'm gonna do that because I get to leave your keys. I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
She's the one at the restaurant. She'll tell them right?
Well, they're setting up more chairs.
Yeah, thank you.
There's more chairs out front.
Yeah, they want the plain seats.
Well, there's still a few minutes for people to get their seats. So 10 minutes. I wonder. When you guys stand to speak, do you be like on this side?
Be like right.
Maybe we should turn it a little to cut off the like.
You might be able to just turn the camera.
Yeah, with that.
Like that.
Yeah, that way you see more of the room. Yeah.
Steven's wife.
I think probably our moms are gonna stand on the other side of the keyboard, so they'll be like. Yeah.
Going up 100 degrees.
Vincent.
Especially on TV. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's his monitor.
Oh, really?
He has 3 monitors. We both do. You know, when you're gaming, you gotta. You get. You get.
Yeah.
55 inch, 65 inch.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm sitting this close to it too. It's like I'm not sure.
65 inch for your monitor.
Yeah. It's a TV. Oh, it's television. I don't. Oh my god, I could not afford a monitor that costs. That's
Monitors are really important.
it's a 4K TV, so the pictures are big. It's hot. Do you guys can turn that down? Or is it just
It's on 60. Yeah, it's just.
Is there a window? They found it in the
There's probably like 20 more chairs. There was no line for the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm expecting a 7 another C-section. It's gonna take a while.
She might start like she
And she is.
that backpack next to you.
Frank said I can hear you guys talking. I have 3 monitors and the TV, 70 inch. And I'm sure he'll hear that in about 5 minutes.
Ask him if he's playing Arc Raiders.
He was playing Art Raiders, right? He was talking about it. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, get that close. Oh. Tissue paper. Trash
Warming up.
They got all the chairs. I don't think so. You can say it. It's tough because we got the camera. Pick it up.
The tripod's not tall enough to be on the ground. And if it goes any bigger, it doesn't fit.
Welcome everyone here today for Greg's memorial service. I appreciate you all being here. I know there's a lot of standers out there. You're welcome to stand. There are some chairs set up just across the hallway with sound if you would like to sit. But you're welcome to be wherever you'd like to be. I guess I will turn it over to Carol. Are you first up to bat? Okay. Nope.
I do have a joke. I do think that Bucky would not be happy right now that we're all together here so we can talk about him when we get pictures of him. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And
Diane Zimmer Fauth, and the entire Fauth family, thank you for coming today. In my script, I was going to say, for those of you who know me, I'm Diane's sister Carol, but I think you can probably tell that I'm Diane's sister based on the interaction with some of you. Today we come together to celebrate the life of Greg Fauth, a life filled with meaning, connection, and love. While we may each carry our own feelings of loss, today is also about remembering the joy of Greg that he brought into our lives. I'm sorry, I am nervous. By remembering the joy of Greg, Bucky Buck, what he brought into our lives, the legacy that continues through the people gathered here. This time together is an opportunity to reflect, to smile, to share stories, to laugh, and to hold one another close as we honor someone who meant so much to so many.
Good afternoon, everyone. This poem is called Life Well Lived by an anonymous author. Life Well Lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments, sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendship formed, good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory. Our grateful hearts will treasure. Love you all. Greg.
You can see the family. That'd be perfect. Oh. Hello, or hello, as Greg would say. If you don't know me, I'm Greg's baby sister Peggy. Better known as Ua to Greg and many of you. Thank you so much for coming to celebrate and honor our brother Greg. Anyone or any dog who knew our brother absolutely loved him. He was kind, genuine, and steady. A quiet, welcome presence. Avid Yankees and Giants fan. You all noticed the Giants won last week? Good news, bad news. They don't get the first Yeah. Right. He'd quietly stand back. Seriously, he'd just stand there, check it out, and then he'd just start working. And the outcome, always one of a kind, beautifully finished products. Unfortunately for Greg, I always knew where I could find him. And I loved our visits. I know Tara felt the same about her woodland adventures. Greg could always be counted on to make stories over a beer and a scratch off. He'd get a big kick out of hearing about his nieces and nephews, and always made me feel special. It's been such an honor to have you as my brother. I'll miss you, your laugh, your kindness, your quick wit, and all the things. Cheers, Gregory. I love you.
All right, I'll speak for a second here. Public speaking is not my first language, so bear with me. We always talk about Greg, who could build anything. He was a landscaper. He could look at a tree, make it grow somehow. Everything he did was perfect, which drove me nuts because I'm far from perfect. One thing I don't know if everybody knows, Greg was a great athlete. Started hanging around with Louis DeMarco a little too much, so that slowed him down. But I remember when I was growing up as a little second grader, Greg was bigger, stronger, faster. And I started wearing glasses in second grade, so he was a lot better looking than I was too. So that was a hard start for me. And I always wanted to be better than him. Play around the house, throw a tennis ball to the garage, and work my ass off. I want to be better in practice sports. He'd go down the street with his buddies. I don't know what the hell he did all day long, but that was back in the 60s. I know he wasn't playing sports. And there I was back in the yard playing. And once in a while he'd get bored and he'd pick up a baseball glove or something and start throwing a ball at me. I said, he doesn't do anything. He goes, what the hell's going on here? Short, empty city, and he'd go back with his buddy. As we were up, we played Little League. I think my father made him play Little League, so we did it. Back when we played Little League, the age group was 8 years old to 12 years old. They all played in the same league. So if you imagine Greg and me at 8, 9 years old, these pictures are junior high kids throwing people. And I was definitely afraid. I get to the plate. My father was the coach. Before they could let go of the pitch, I was 10 feet deep. Greg would get up there, a little helmet. He was 9. He was a lot older than me. Greg was he was going to, he stood in there, and I'm telling you, you think these pitches are throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. Greg son stood in there. He didn't hit the ball with 10, but he did it. He got older, when I was junior high, I was still working on my sports. Greg was still doing his thing with his buddies down the street. He got into junior high, and he became. I think in junior high, I remember 3 things he wanted to be. He wanted to be good looking. He wanted to play sports. If he wanted to be cool. And girls were coming around then. And the best thing you could be was cool. And Greg was the coolest cat. Somehow snuck out of our house with his tight pants. No, he put the regular drawers over his tight pants. And I went there, nerd me with my glasses and my pants. And Greg was the coolest guy in school. All the girls. And I stood one. We'd go out, we'd play like a bowl, play some sports. Greg didn't play that often. And he was like a mad. When he was on the field, he was a madman. You couldn't beat him. He was faster. He practice. He never worked on the craft at all. As he got older, I was still doing the same thing. Got towards high school, along came Louis DeMarco. And you guys don't know Louis DeMarco. He turned Greg into, I don't know what he turned into. I don't know what this guy did every day. But he had a lot of fun. Every time you saw him, if he was like Louis is now, they'd both be laughing. Yeah, I mean, good. I don't think he just liked it too well, but I played sports a little bit in the practice. Again, I remember one day he pitched. Greg, how the hell he learned to throw a curve? But I had to be base with I think Louis might have been in the outfield. And Greg would turn back at Louis, and the batter come up. He didn't never throw a fastball. Everything he bought was just junk. He threw. And how he learned how to throw a curveball, I never know. But he'd look at Louis, kind of smile, and throw this curveball, buckle the guy's knee, the batter. And it was just fun. You know, he didn't want. I felt bad for the guy, but look at Louis, smile, throw another pitch, buckle the guy's knees, and it was just again amazed at the talents that I kept thinking, what if he ever actually as my father would say, fight himself. The sport, track, which he never did, but he just amazed me. Again, we go out and Barry Dean was talking about soccer game we played the one time. No, Greg never played soccer. We found somebody brought a soccer ball and he didn't know how to play soccer. He thought soccer was kind of football. He knew the one thing, kick the ball and kick it into the goal. And to get there, a lot of times you're putting people over. And Ryan's a soccer fan, and whether they got yellow cards and red cards, I think the yellow card means you get a warning, and a red card means you get thrown out. Well, Greg would have got thrown out the first 2 minutes of the game. But again, the athlete he was amazing. I'm gonna get away from this guy talking circles here. Years ago, Michael Geyer here, we had a conversation on a watering hole about who was the best athlete who ever Western. Back in the 70s, sport was there's nothing else to do. You went to the high school game. There wasn't the cell phone. So I don't even want. The question was, who was the greatest athlete that you thought we had ever seen in Western? First 6 of us, I'd say the first 5 guys reeled off somebody. Michael Geyer came up, and he goes, I have no question in my mind. It was Greg Fauth. And I thought, I'm thinking, oh. And I started thinking about it. He knew what Greg was, and he knew what he played against him, and just not time to pick up games. But he was just amazing. He was good with his hands, and when he worked, he was just great with his hands with the ball. Biggest honor that he ever got in basketball tournament, 2-on-2 basketball tournament. Rufus knows that, and again, Western back then was anything to do, so they found out this tournament started out kind of small. But with this tournament came Big 30. Greg. Basketball one day party that night, basketball night. 2-on-2 basketball. It got so big that we had to do it because there's just too many people to play. We had 83 the B League were for the goofballs that didn't play a lot of it's not goofballs, just they didn't wear basketball players. The A was the basketball player. Now Mark Alleman talked to Greg and said, will you play basketball? The game with me, Greg. Greg was a basketball player. He said no, but then he decided. Everybody here knows Greg. Why do you think basketball wasn't his game? Anybody have an answer? That's what? No, still not. No. I never see Greg wear shorts. I don't think Coach O'Rourke would want them on the court with jeans on. Never got into it. But how many? I mean, there had to be 30 teams work on each one. 64 teams. 6 remembers everything. He was in with the basketball player, and not being one. It was pretty serious. Greg knew Mark Alleman was a pretty decent player. He'd tell you he was like a lot better than he actually was. No, Mark was a good player. And Greg came with it. I don't know if he wore work boots or whatever. But one thing about Greg, he could figure it out. He figured one thing he had to do. Because he couldn't shoot, couldn't dribble. How quick he learned how to put his ass block people out. And he kept that look in his face. They all went up to the rim. Mark ripped a lot. So but he knew the angle the ball was going to come off the rim. I mean, just what he did on that court. And if he got the ball, he had the back of the mark. And quite often, and it was Roof. I don't think 9 non-basketball player ever won a tournament. It was very serious. Somehow they won. They won this tournament. We talked about it for now. Was that 55 years now? It was, and of course, we have these beautiful children. I didn't want to throw. You want nothing to do with it. But yeah, keep him on the party. And we talked to him many a time after that. Not a big deal. But it was, I mean, his brain, the way, when he competed, he just worked. He worked and thought. It's like building a wall or doing anything else, how he could get an advantage. Now, he did. Yeah, he would have fouled out of a lot of basketball games, but he did what he had to do. Well, Michael, I think, the more I think about it, if he ever would, again, my father applied himself, if he ever would work, what an athlete he would have been. Again, Michael, you might have been Greg, hero. I love him.
All right. I'm Brian. Those who don't know me, I'm Dave's oldest son, Greg's nephew. And just around this room and seeing how many people here shows how much Greg meant to so many people. So it's pretty impressive. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to spend as much time with Greg over the last couple years. You know, I've been living in New England. You know, I've been having a family. I get home less and less often. So the last time I talked to Uncle Greg was Uncle Dan's funeral, sadly. I just wish I had more chances to spend time with him. But I had tons of great memories with Uncle Greg from holiday parties at Grandma's house. I just want to share a few traits that stood out. You know, he had a lot of amazing traits. I'll focus on three and share a couple stories. First trait, he was very kind and very generous. I know that my uncle talked to my dad about how Uncle Greg was the best tipper around. He had the bartenders and waiters everywhere. You know that, right? So, and I found that out when I first turned 21. I didn't live in North for long after I turned 21, but me and some of my friends go to the local Zaz's or the Coach and show the bartender my ID. Oh, you bucks up you? Yeah. Go to catch out. Put on Bucks tab. He'll be happy to hear you're here. So yeah, that was one thing that stood out. His talent, as and my dad mentioned. I didn't realize how talented he was at sports. Honestly, never struck me as being an athlete, but I hear these stories that are pretty amazing. We built two of our decks in our house, built our family room, the basement almost single-handedly. Single-handedly, yeah. I don't know if there's anybody here who lent a hand. I don't want to offend anybody, but yeah. Well, I was gonna say I don't think God makes many mistakes, but somehow that guy is the handiest guy ever. And then my dad didn't get it's hard for him. Turn a wrench. Whatever my dad was supposed to have, he got. Very good at many things, but his handiwork is not one. And then the last thing is that when he's pretty quiet guy, he made me laugh out loud a lot. Talking with me, one of my first memories was actually, and it was, I don't know, I was young, and they had karaoke there. It was a couple years ago. And Uncle Greg went up and sang Tom T. Hall, I Like Beer. And I thought it was the song. I was singing it for like the next few weeks. I don't think my teachers or Sunday school teachers. But it was, I just remember him out there in his mannerisms. It just cracked me up. Another memory I have he introduced my grandmother when they were introducing the wedding party. my grandmother was in a wheelchair at the time, and here came, you know, the groom's grandmother. Here comes Uncle Greg wheeling her down the aisle, dances, popping a wheelie with my grandmother. And it was quite a sight. We have a video of it, and every year I watch it. It makes me laugh. And then the last memory that I'll share is this is when I first came home. First time I saw Uncle Greg after I came home from college. It was Christmas Eve, and we were having some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks at my parents' house. And Uncle Greg was asking me about how college was. And later in the night, before it's getting pretty late, I said, Bri, did you ever do any of this in college? And he proceeds to pound the rest of his Labatt Blue and crush it on his forehead. One of those things that always made me laugh so hard. Scott, I reminisce about that. But he was a hilarious guy, and I'd be greatly missed by a lot of people. I wish I would have been able to spend some more time with Uncle Greg.
I pray you'll be alright. Times when we don't know that these when we lose our way, guide us with your grace to a place where we pray we'll find your light. Stars flooded now. Shadows guide us with your because it's will be saved. Let this be our
With us faithful will be saved.
I will not be singing. I'm Emily Lamica. I'm Uncle Bucky's niece. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm one of Buck's nieces. It's amazing to see all of you here. Oh, I thought I had it together, guys. Sorry. I'll be reading a couple of messages from my cousins who could not be here today. From my cousin Sarah. There's a quote that says, "A smile is the shortest distance between two people." Over these past few weeks, whenever I've thought about my Uncle Greg, that is exactly what has come to my mind. His smile. He used a smile from across the living room at his Zimmer Christmas, his gifts were being opened, or his smile when we saw each other for the first time at a family reunion. A smile while playing wiffle ball or standing around a grill. It didn't matter where we were or how much time had passed when I would look at my Uncle Greg. He would smile. And in those moments, I knew I was loved. Uncle Greg, you will be missed more than words can say. Thank you for sharing your smile with me. It always made the distance between us a little smaller. For my cousin Dan. Some of my best memories with Uncle Bucky were when we would come up for the family reunion or other family events. He would welcome us with joy and ask me about sports and how school was going. He always showed a genuine interest in how I was doing and would joke around with me. Everyone should have an Uncle Greg in their life. They would be so blessed. I know I was. And just a few words. Uncle Bucky was one of those people who made life feel a little light just by being around. He was kind, joyful, always knew how to get you to crack a smile. He was a true workhorse and an incredibly talented craftsman. But it is not what he did, it was who he was that mattered most. Uncle Bucky was deeply family oriented, and he made sure to be at every holiday, gathering, reunion, or moment that mattered. You could always talk to Uncle Buck for a good laugh. He had a way of bringing lightness to the room without even trying. Uncle Bucky taught us what it looks like to live life with joy, to work hard, and to love your family wholeheartedly. How lucky are we to have had him, to have been loved by him, and to carry his memory with us. I love you.
Okay, following that, it's not too easy. Gregory John Fauth. Bucky was more than just a brother in law. He was a good friend. He was always there when we needed him. Always willing to lend a hand or to buy a beer on the receiving end of it. How do we describe this man? He was a son, he was a brother, he was a husband, he was a brother-in-law, he was an uncle, he was a cousin, he was a friend. He was Buck, or he was Bucky. I just saw his picture in the yearbook, and under his name, and a lot of people's names, is a nickname. And when he was in high school, Bucky was his nickname, and I didn't know that went back that far. I learned something today. But how do we describe this man? He was strong, like an ox. His knowledge of leverage was amazing. I witnessed him put trusses up on an addition at our house, my father-in-law, Ralph. And he did it by himself. I just went outside, and all of a sudden I see this 20-foot truss hanging off the side of the building, and there's Buck putting it up like it was nothing. This is something that Peg said, and it rings true. He'd look at a job that needed to be done, not write anything down, pause for a moment, and then just start making it happen. That's how he approached much of his construction work, with a quiet confidence and pure capability. How do we describe this man? He was tough. While working on the addition for Dad Zimmer, Bucky fell on stepped on a slippery piece of Tyvek, and he fell and hit his head. After yelling his name several times, he finally said, "I'm okay." So I go over to help him down and notice there's blood dripping. So I help him down, and he looks at me and goes, just put a Band-Aid on it. And I looked at the opening in his head, and I said, "Buck, I can see your skull. I think this is going to need a little more than a Band-Aid." So he did take him to the ER and get stitched up. How do we describe this being loving? Buck was a family first guy. The kids absolutely loved Uncle Bucky. They always knew that they needed 4th of July carpets, which were bubble wrap, to jump on. Uncle Buck was their guy. Or someone to lie down on the driveway so they could trace his silhouette in chalk. He was game. He was a complete pushover for the kids. And he loved that fiercely. As we can see with all the pictures, he was very photogenic. He just loved having his picture taken. Whether he liked it or not, the cameras always seemed to catch Buck. Many of those photos are here today. We all know he was not one to pose for pictures. So timing was everything. At the Williams family reunion, there's a tradition in making a big photo at the reunion. And Buck loved pictures. And one thing I would do once the pictures came out, I can only compare it to the book Where's Waldo? Because you would scan the photos looking for Bucky. And you might catch half of his face, or he'd be in the back row. But he was always there with a smile on. Funny. Buck had a great sense of humor. He would make you laugh with a one-liner or just a look. One summer, he and Diane took our 3 kids to randomly Allison and Joey for a weekend or for the family reunion so we could go to a wedding. So over the years, Bucky would do jobs for us, but he would never present us with a bill for that job. Well, the first and only time I ever got a bill for that day of watching my kids. For $7,010. It was titled Monster Day, and it was 10 hours of labor. The master sitter, which I'm thinking that was Diane, was getting paid $35 an hour. Well, but the materials he needed was rope, pronghorn, a life raft, nose board, Valium, other miscellaneous drugs, a speeding ticket, which he probably got because one of the kids had to use the bathroom, tree climbing gear, a medical assistance team, and then there's a charge for back pain, hallucination, divorce lawyer, and mental rehab. So, in closing, in my family, I'm the hugger of the family. And once he built the addition, thing where we would say goodbye and say, "Bring it in, Buck." And he would look at me, and I had my arms open. I said, "Bring it in, Buck." And he'd look at me, and he'd just shake his head. And I'd walk up to him, and he would give me a hug. And I'd say, I love you, brother. And he would say, "I love you back." With a joke. But that's my message, his easy way about, and he's going to be missed. There's one other thing I skipped here, but he enjoyed the moment. We had a competition, the two of us, up with my mother-in-law, Joanne Zimmer, and so we would try to be the favorite son-in-law. So we would jockey for position at the dinner table to see who could get her chair and push her chair in. When she got to the house, who could take her coat. And it was quite the competition we had, and she just soaked that up and loved it. So I miss that competition between them. I always miss that competition between us. But he's gone, but not forgotten. We love you, Buck.
I learned a lot today already. Well, first of all, to the Fauth family, my condolences. Didn't know Greg as a kid. It sounds like he was. I wish I'd known him if I was running around West Webster with him. My family lived over here in the Shantz track. We didn't even go to school together with the Fauths, but we knew about him. More reputation. I don't know who the Zimmers was, but I'm getting the idea that he's a little bit of a different person with the Fauth family. I was going to start out with a bit like how many people found like it needed a contest to see if you could get a rise out of Greg. Did anybody play that game besides me? Because a lot of times he was sitting very stoically at our family gatherings. And I guess I had to put some family gathering face that he had on. It was kind of like resting face. And maybe it was like resting builder face. My goodness, this man did not work. He did so many things. I gotta believe that if you had a hand in anything in your house, it improved the quality of your life in your house. I mean, this man, as Pat described, could figure out anything. Something you need to fix it, he could fix it. If you wanted something built, he'd figure out how to build it. It would take a lot of talent. sounds like a lot of it was native down. I owned him a book once, which was dropping out of architecture school. So I won't go into that. It was a very handy book for those who knew how to use it. So I gave it to him, and what I think evidence of how he took what he knew, just kept growing and growing. Things God took on for more and more. So impressive. I first met him in as a college kid home on break, and my mom had always wanted like her own bathroom. Like she was like crying about getting her own bathroom. I'm not kidding. She needed her own bathroom. I'm sharing it with 6 kids, or 5 or 4. Greg came along, and I don't know how they hired him. I don't know if Diane referred him or what. But he was building this 2nd floor bathroom into the space in the garage. Nothing under it. Like it had to be called cantilever. Like there's no 1st floor under it. He built it into space. And I thought, an engineer to help him? Does he get what he got? It's just him. He just built it. And it's still standing. I didn't fall in any cars or anything. Nobody was taking a bath. I ended up in a Volvo or something. But it was very impressive to me. He built that. And also the meaning that it had for my parents. Really were grateful to him. And they ended up commissioning to do multiple projects with their next house. You know, I had actually Greg helping our family a little bit. I can say I'm Bob, my little brother. But I lived out in Brockford. I lived out there with my family for over 40 years. So all these folks that I'm thinking, wow, did I know you 45 years ago when I was still in Webster? Like that's the way we look at this today. I don't know, who are you? But anyways, he came all the way out to Brockford once to help with sort of an emergency job with this decrepit roof as part of our house on the garage. And like I was like, well, are you bring like one of those conveyor machines with you to get the roofing materials up? So, no, I'm going to cut these roofing bundles up and carry them up the stairs and hand them out a window because they weigh like 50 or 60 pounds. He was like, you know, and I was like, trying to figure out what the plan was. Up on a garage roof. I tried to lift one, you know, I got to about here, and I was like, yeah, nope. And then he picked that thing up, threw it on his shoulder, marched up that ladder, stepped onto a sloped roof off the top of that ladder like he was carrying tissues or something. This man was very strong and confident, but he also knew what he was doing. And I'm sure it wasn't the first time he'd done that. So the skill and the strength was just very impressive. And then he allowed us helpers to actually help him. Like, he gave me some of the demo work. He said, I think I can wrap something. And then when it came time to do the score, okay, watch me, you know. Watch it. And the roof on. And he let me do a couple lines. I'm not sure if the owners of that house replaced the roof. I think they've replaced the roof, but not fast enough. Because every time I drove in that garage roof and all the parts Greg did, here's a couple weight lines that I did, which he never once said anything he messed up. I can't. One time I heard him criticize it. Not one time. And he also never took credit. I can't think of anybody more humble that I knew. And he did some astounding things. But also practices people talked about. For me, he modeled quiet strength in my family. My parents loved me to death. Tim, I'm not sure how you did on that competition, but well, lucky to be loved in our family. And I love them, particularly here in my sister. When you're a family of sisters, you're like, God, I hope somebody comes along who deserves them. And I've been very fortunate to see all 4 of us, this gentleman, I'm sorry, I'm going to call all my other brother. Greg was a gentleman to my sister, and he took care of her, loved her. And comes up and corrects me. I think she was happy with it. That's what you want. You have a brother-in-law, you need to be good to your sister. He was. So I think I'll end it with a good man, dearly missed, admirable life he lived. Okay.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around. Place beyond the sun. Smells like burning drops away above the empty tops that
Uncle Buck, nephew. I just want to. I'm going to say a prayer to send us off, but I just want to say how amazing it is to see how full this room is. Well, the people that love Greg Fauth, Just quite a blessing for all of you to be here. So I think. Let us pray. In the midst of sorrow and grief and the loss of Greg, as a husband, brother, uncle, and friend, it has been so good to gather together to celebrate his life. Gracious God, thank you for creating such a person as Greg, with his many talents that he used to provide for Diane and himself, but to also contribute to the betterment of his extended family, circle of friends, and other recipients of his breath. We thank you for not only his work, but for who he was to us. Many of his precious and personal qualities have been shared in this memorial service, such as his kindness, his appreciation for others, and especially Diane. We ask you, Father, that the remembrances, word, and music from our time together, and your sustaining care and comfort will provide healing and strength for Diane and the family, and her path forward and their path forward. May they all leave here knowing of your love and our love for them. Now, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. Lord, lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Where are you? You want to say something?
I do. All right. Well, I'm Lou DeMarco. Don't listen to anything that David said because I'm a good guy. Greg was the bad one. This is going to be kind of hard. I've known Greg for over 60 years. We met in high school, junior high. You know, so we didn't do anything much in 8th grade, but 9th grade we just took a show. I mean, we were just crazy. The few of the memories that I had was I remember Dave mentioned it where he used to come to school with these baggy pants because his father would not let him wear tight pants. And he used to come to school with these baggy pants, but he also had a pair of tight pants that he used to change at school. One day, I don't know if anybody knew this, but one day the principal had a golf. He had to put on Greg's pants to make sure that the ball would go all the way straight down. So he called up his father and stuff like that. I don't know why, but that was just one thing. And then another thing that we did, I mean, Greg was just a person that was my friend, one of my best friends. We always did some crazy things. We were in the cafeteria, and if everybody remembers junior high, I mean, there was just food parties all over. Greg got caught, I did. And we got thrown out to the cafeteria. We had to go spend our lunches in the auditorium. Well, there's no food in the auditorium, so we brought in a watermelon. We brought it into the nurse's station, put it in the refrigerator, and then we took it out for lunch. We had this huge knife, which I don't really recommend doing today. We used to cut the watermelon off in the auditorium and eat that watermelon. You know, we thought we were just great, you know, and it was. But moving out of high school, again, you know, in 10th grade, Carl Thomas, one of the best schools in the county, in my eyes. 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, we again, we were dogs, you know, we had to do everything together. And one day we decided there was Brad, myself, Brad Fox, Tim Finch, we decided to write on a billboard on Empire Boulevard, class of 1970. But, well, great. It was one night that we did it and we forgot the paintbrushes. So we used our hands. Class of 1970 on this huge billboard, right where the Buckingham restaurant used to be. Big class of 1970. How smart we decided to put our names on. So we're now moving on to college. There was four of us in this one bedroom apartment, 4 bunk beds in this one bedroom.
and it was just crazy. Our major, we went to community college. Back then, there was no in trailers and back of stores. We majored in something, but our major up there was going to the Finger Lakes racetrack. We were there like every 2 I don't know how. Greg stood up for my wedding. Married for 55 years. We've been friends, I said 6 years. As we grew older, we sort of had to go our separate ways. He had his family. But whenever I saw Greg, it was like it just came back. It was like we never ever left. Towards the end, Fuji gave me a call and told me that Greg was really kind of sick. And he was in the hospital. And the very next day, when Fuji called me, the very next day I went to see Greg. And I don't know why, but as soon as I walked in, he was in bed. Not because he was sick and I was feeling all right. It was just the way Greg was. He had that gift to make you feel good. He was a very dear friend of mine. Oh, I can say one thing about how he worked. Whenever I needed anything done in my house or my business, the only person we called was Greg. I remember one day that I needed new skylights for my house, and I called Greg. The very next day, he came to my house, gave me a price. And again, I'm talking 5 years ago. Now Greg is 70, right? So he comes over my house. He comes by himself. This old, run-down truck. All the stuff piled in. I don't know how he ever did it out. All this, so he comes to my house. He looks at me. Let me just take a flip phone. What do you do with this flip phone? You don't have the internet. I don't have stuff. So he climbs up on 7 years old. He gives me a price. The very next day, he was there by himself, putting these 2 skylights in my house. I go, this is crazy. What do you don't need it? That's fantastic. That's how he goes. That's his work ethic. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I just want to say that he was my friend for 6 years. He was my friend back then. He was my friend now. And he'll be one of my best friends for the rest of my life. Be rest in peace. I will definitely see you.
Well, a lot of good components to a well lived. Thank you all for sharing. This concludes the services here at the funeral home. You're all invited back to Flaherty's for time of food.